and the complicated journey of life. How do you figure out how to navigate if you don't have a manual? Well, this is Dr. Courtney Hale, PhD, here with a series on navigation, maximization, and the dashboard lights. We're giving you the Lost User Manual for human navigation. In this final video in the series, we're going to be talking about the contract light because you cannot rewrite a contract that you don't know you're living under. Throughout this series, we've explored 4 dashboard lights that quietly shape the way we navigate our lives. The compass light asks whether we're still traveling in a direction that reflects what matters most to us. The fuel light reminds us that every journey depends on the condition of the vehicle making it. The loop light invites us to recognize that recurring patterns shape our decisions, often without our awareness. The final dashboard light is perhaps the quietest of them all. I call it the contract light. One of the more fascinating aspects of being human is that many of the decisions guiding our lives were never consciously made. Somewhere along the way, we entered into invisible agreements with ourselves about who we needed to become in order to be safe, successful, accepted, responsible, lovable, or enough. Some of those agreements have served you beautifully. Others simply outlived their usefulness, but you may not have noticed. A child may quietly decide that being perfect prevents disappointment. An ambitious young professional may conclude that rest is something to be earned rather than respected. A leader may become convinced that asking for help is a sign of weakness, not strength. None of those decisions are irrational. Most made perfect sense when the circumstances created them. The interesting question is whether they still deserve to organize our lives decades later. The contract light asks us to become conscious and curious about the assumptions we've stopped questioning a long time ago. Not because they're wrong, but because familiarity has a way of disguising itself as the truth. One of the things I've noticed over the years in human beings is that they are remarkably loyal to agreements that they've completely forgotten ever making. We continue honoring promises written by younger versions of ourselves long after those promises have stopped serving the people that we've become today. That's why awareness matters. You can't renegotiate a contract that you don't know exists. Finding the Force has never been about convincing people to become someone different. It's about helping thoughtful people recognize the hidden costs, reduce the leaks, identify recurring patterns, and invisible assumptions that quietly influence the way that we live, the way we lead, how we decide, and how we relate to others. Because when those hidden influences become visible, something begins to change. Not overnight and not all at once, but thoughtfully, intentionally, with increasing clarity. Throughout this series, I've returned to the same idea in different ways because I believe it may be one of the most important observations I've made in more than 25 years of this work. Stress is expensive. The invoices rarely arrive all at once. They accumulate over time. Hidden costs become resource leaks. Resource leaks gradually influence our health, our relationships, our leadership, our creativity, resilience, and our sense of purpose. Most people aren't broken. They're simply paying bills that they never realized were accumulating. The good news is that the hidden costs don't have to remain hidden forever. When we begin seeing more clearly, we begin navigating differently. And better navigation creates better decisions. Better decisions create better outcomes. If these conversations have resonated with you, I'd encourage you to continue the journey. For some people, the best place to land is Compass, our foundational learning community and the practical map for life navigation. It's like the recipe or the cooking book for making cookies so that you can go and make your own at home. All right. If you're ready to explore these ideas more deeply, our level 1 Compass experience begins in July, and it's designed to help you through online classes to recognize the hidden costs, identify resource leaks, understand recurring patterns, and begin applying the 4 keys framework in your own life. Others find themselves navigating a particularly intense season, a leadership transition, burnout, an important intersection with relationships. And if that's where you're at, I also reserve a limited number of spaces for one on one strategic advisory. That work is thoughtful, highly individualized, and designed for leaders, founders, executives, healthcare professionals, and others carrying significant responsibility who would benefit from a trusted partner in navigating complexity. Whichever path feels appropriate, you'll find everything gathered in my link tree. Think of it less as a collection of offers and more as a place to begin. Whether you're looking for Compass, strategic advisory, upcoming programs, essays, interviews, or future learning opportunities, you'll find the next step there in Linktree. So, thank you for spending time with me. I hope these conversations have given you more than a handful of ideas. I hope they've offered a different way of seeing life altogether, because that's where finding the force actually begins to work in your life. Not with having all the answers, but with learning to ask better questions. And perhaps the most important question of all is the one that we've returned to throughout this journey, our little road trip. What might I not be seeing? When you begin asking that one question with genuine curiosity, the map starts to emerge. And once you understand the map, the journey changes. I look forward to seeing where your journey leads. Bye for now.